Hi, this is Emma, and today we're going to be doing a haircut that I like to call the luscious layers. And it's a really easy, really universal, disconnected layering technique. And it preserves a lot of the weight in the front sections where some people can tend to get a little sparse, which is what I love so much about it. We're going to start with the perimeter, and we're going to section out our 4 quadrants, middle parting down the center of the top, and a middle parting through the back, and then taking just sort of slightly diagonal horizontals to pull the hair down. We're going to work our way up through the back quadrants, cutting horizontal to the ground. It's a nice crisp straight line at the perimeter, little to no over direction happening, trying to cut it in natural fall for the most part. And moving through the sides, same thing. You'll pull it down into that horizontal and cut the perimeter. Now, moving into the layering, we're going to take a section straight down the part, about a 1-inch section, and I'm pulling it about 45 degrees out from the head forward. And this is going to create a push backwards, shorter to longer with the hair. And I'm elevating everything on one side of the head up to that center parting. So it's all coming to that middle parting in the middle of the head and all getting cut at that same angle. And it's important to focus on this part at that angle so that when we move to the back, you've got the muscle memory and that angle visualized. And looking at this angle, you guys can see how far back I took that section. So it comes sort of just up to the round of the head, moving into the back. Now I'm going to section off behind the ear, and I'm taking pie sectioning or pivotal sectioning through the crown. And I'm going to use that same angle, but coming 45 degrees off the back of the head now. And I'm going to take that down until I run out of hair to cut. And I'm going to use that as a traveling guide. I'm not over directing forwards or backwards, just pulling it straight off the head and maintaining again that crisp mirrored angle. A good rule of thumb for this is mirroring sort of the shape of their head. Typically at the crown, that's going to be about that 45-degree angle. But if you start to get lost, that's a good rule of thumb to bounce off of. And this is very fast. As you guys can see, that's really only about 3 sections moving back through the crown, walking it down until I run out of hair to cut. And it's all done. Now, probably one of my favorite ways to style longer hair is curling it when we're done. And I think right now we all are still stuck in loving beach waves. They're fun and they're tousled and they show a lot of movement to the hair. And this is a haircut that gives hair a fair amount of bounce and a fair amount of mobility, and so it's nice to show that off. I'm taking pretty big sections here so that I'll have a looser curl, and I'm wrapping the hair and then rolling it out, which helps to create that softer texture, as well as switching directions will create more volume and width through the bottom of the curl, as well as it helps prevent them sticking together, because if they roll together, we'll get a little bit more of a classic shape where the waves roll together. I do always like to curl back and away from the face. I just find that it helps keep hair out of people's face, as well as is more aesthetically pleasing for most of us. As I move into the top, I do lift up to help create some volume in that root section, and rolling the hair up and then rolling and twisting out to finish out with a straighter end. Now, it's very important when we're curling that we make sure it's all the way cool before we go through and rake it out. But raking it out is really when we're going to see this texture come to life. Just make sure it's all the way cool first. And voila, we've got a ton of texture, a ton of movement, but it's still very solid in the front where most of us tend to get some thinner, weaker hairs. You guys can see we've got that width throughout with the curl that we chose to put in there.